North Korea, a name that instantly conjures up a sense of mystery, intrigue, and, for many, a shroud of uncertainty. It's a place that has captured the world's imagination, yet remains stubbornly out of reach for most. The name alone evokes images of meticulously choreographed military parades, rows of soldiers marching in perfect unison, and a nation that seems almost frozen in time, hidden from the world behind a veil of secrecy. For decades, North Korea has been a land of secrets, carefully cultivating its own myth and narrative. Its borders are tightly controlled, its stories filtered through layers of propaganda, and its people rarely seen or heard by outsiders. We see headlines splashed across international news, stern-faced leaders presiding over grand events, and bold propaganda posters lining the streets. But the real lives of ordinary North Koreans, their daily routines, their joys and struggles, remain a mystery to much of the world. It's easy to view North Korea as a grey, impenetrable monolith, a place defined only by its politics and its leaders. But that perspective erases the millions of individuals living within its borders. People with their own stories, families, and dreams. Behind the imposing statues and the grand parades are real people, men, women, and children with hopes, fears, and aspirations. Their stories are rarely heard beyond the shadow of politics, yet they are the true heart of the nation. My journey has been about listening, piecing together memories from defectors who risked everything to share their experiences, scrutinizing state media for glimpses of truth, and when possible, visiting the country to see life firsthand, even if only for a moment. Even in a society where every word and gesture is carefully watched, brief moments of genuine connection shine through. A glance exchanged between friends, a child's laughter echoing in a playground, a whispered word of kindness. These fleeting moments reveal the humanity that persists even under the weight of control. This is a glimpse into the heart of North Korea, a story not just of a state, but of its people and their quiet resilience. It's about finding hope and dignity in the everyday and remembering that behind every headline there are lives waiting to be understood. Entering North Korea begins with a ritual unlike any other border crossing. The moment you land, you're asked to surrender your passport, your phone, and sometimes even your sense of self. There's a palpable sense of crossing into another world, one where your autonomy, your privacy, and your freedom are no longer your own, but are instead entrusted to the state. The process is efficient, but it's also intimidating, a reminder that you are now under constant watch. Even before you touch down, the experience begins aboard Air Koryo. The cabin is decorated with patriotic posters, and the speakers play stirring revolutionary music. The flight attendants, dressed in crisp uniforms, move with practiced precision. You're not just flying to a new country, you're being immersed in the state's ideology from the very first moment, surrounded by symbols and sounds that reinforce the power and pride of North Korea. Pyongyang's airport is a study in contrast. It's gleaming, modern, and almost eerily spotless. The terminal is vast and silent, with none of the usual hustle and bustle you'd expect in a capital city. There are no crowds, no frantic announcements, just a calm, controlled atmosphere that feels both welcoming and unsettling. As you step into the arrivals hall, your guides are waiting. They're polite, impeccably dressed, and always smiling. But beneath the hospitality, there's an unmistakable sense of authority. They are ever present, always by your side, and it quickly becomes clear that they are in complete control of what you see, where you go, and even what you talk about. The city itself feels surreal, almost like a meticulously constructed movie set. The boulevards are wide and empty, lined with pastel-colored buildings and dominated by monumental statues. There's a sense of order and grandeur, but also an emptiness that's hard to ignore. What's most striking is what's missing. There are no advertisements, no billboards, no neon signs. Public squares are vast and empty, and there are no spontaneous gatherings or street performers. The only messages you see are those of the state, propaganda murals, slogans, and images of the leaders. It's a city where the state is everywhere and individuality is nowhere to be found. Your itinerary is fixed and carefully curated. You bow at the Grand Monument, pay your respects at the Juche Tower, and watch as children perform elaborate routines in spotless uniforms, all for the glory of the leaders. Every activity is designed to impress upon you the greatness of the regime, At every stop, the message is the same: strength, loyalty, and unity under the Kims. The murals, the statues, the mass games, all are orchestrated to reinforce the narrative of a nation united and unwavering in its devotion. If you stray from the script, even unintentionally, your guides gently but firmly redirect you. Questions are answered with practiced responses, and any curiosity about life beyond the official story is politely deflected. The boundaries are clear, and you quickly learn not to cross them. In North Korea, you're not just a visitor, you're an audience member in a carefully staged performance. Every moment is choreographed, every interaction controlled. The illusion is everything, and you are both witness and participant in a world where reality is whatever the state wants you to see. Daily life in North Korea is defined by invisible boundaries and constant surveillance. Every step you take, every word you speak is shadowed by the ever-present gaze of the state. The sense of being watched is not just a feeling, it's a reality that shapes every action, every interaction, and even the thoughts people dare to have. There's no public internet, just a closed intranet for the privileged few. Most citizens have never seen a website from the outside world. Information is tightly filtered, and curiosity about the outside is discouraged, even dangerous. For the majority, the digital world is a locked door, and only a select few hold the key. News is what the state says it is. The outside world barely exists. Every headline, every story is carefully crafted to reinforce the government's narrative. International events are rarely mentioned, and when they are, it's only through the lens of state propaganda. For most, the truth is whatever the authorities decide it should be. Portraits of Kim Il-sung and Kim Jong-il are everywhere, treated as sacred objects. In every home, school, and office, these images must be displayed and kept spotless. Failing to show proper respect can have serious consequences, so families take great care to honor these symbols of power. Movement is tightly controlled. Travel between cities requires permits, and for most it's impossible. Spontaneous trips are unheard of. Every journey is scrutinized, and unauthorized travel can lead to harsh punishment. The freedom to move, something many take for granted, is a distant dream here. As a visitor, you're confined to a pre-approved path, always accompanied by guides. Every moment is monitored, every question carefully answered. You see only what the authorities want you to see, and any attempt to stray from the script is quickly shut down. The songbun system, a hidden caste structure, determines your fate from birth, education, job, even food rations. Your family's history decides your opportunities, and changing your status is nearly impossible. This invisible hierarchy shapes every aspect of life, from the classroom to the workplace and beyond. Loyalty is rewarded, dissent is punished, often for generations. Acts of devotion to the regime can bring small privileges, while even a hint of disloyalty can mean hardship not just for you, but for your entire family. The consequences of stepping out of line are severe and long-lasting. The system is designed to keep people in line before dissent can even begin. Public life is a series of orchestrated routines, from mass rallies to daily chores, all meant to reinforce obedience and unity. Individuality is quietly suppressed in favor of collective conformity. Even in private, the state's presence is felt. Radios fixed to government channels fill homes with official messages, and the ever-watchful portraits remind families that loyalty is expected at all times. Privacy is an illusion, and the boundaries between public and private life are blurred. The rules are unspoken, but everyone knows them. A wrong word, a careless gesture can bring suspicion. People learn to read between the lines, to communicate in whispers, and to trust only those closest to them. Life is lived within these silent walls. The boundaries are invisible, but they are everywhere, shaping thoughts, actions, and dreams. In North Korea, the silent rules are the strongest of all. North Korea's technology is a tool for control, not connection. Pyongyang's elite may have smartphones, but they're locked to the state's intranet. No global internet, no outside calls. Surveillance software tracks every move, every message. For most, technology is out of reach. Information comes from state radio or word of mouth. The digital divide is stark: city versus countryside, privilege versus poverty. At the sci-tech complex, people appear to browse the web, but it's all a performance on the closed network. Outside the city, life is analog, farmers with oxen, no hint of modernity. Foreign media is forbidden, But USBs with smuggled films circulate underground, risking severe punishment. For many, these glimpses of the outside world are a lifeline, a dangerous, precious rebellion. Even in isolation, the hunger for truth persists. North Korean culture is engineered to serve the state. Every song, film and painting glorifies the Kim dynasty and the ideology of Juche. The mass games are a stunning display of collective unity, erasing the individual. Music is everywhere, but it's all patriotic. Outside influences are banned. Even the Moranbong band, with its modern look, sings only of loyalty and pride. History is rewritten. Children learn myths that place the Kims at the center of everything, yet in private families quietly preserve old stories and forbidden melodies. These small acts of cultural resistance are a testament to the enduring spirit of the people. True culture survives in whispers, hidden from the state's gaze. North Korea's Zin isn't religious, it's the denial of basic human rights. The state is absolute, the leader is worshipped. The law is a weapon, not a shield. Loyalty is enforced and dissent is crushed. Crimes are vague, a careless word, a poorly maintained portrait, an attempt to flee. Punishment is collective. 3 generations can suffer for one person's crime. Fear and mistrust permeate society. Neighbors spy on neighbors, children on parents. The greatest sin is independent thought. Political prison camps, or kwanliso, are the regime's darkest secret. Places of forced labor, starvation and torture. The stories from these camps are harrowing, a testament to the regime's cruelty. The threat of the camps keeps everyone in line. Even under oppression, North Koreans find ways to live, love and hope. Families picnic in parks, friends gather by the river, small moments of joy and defiance of the system. The Jangmadang, or black markets, are hubs of resilience, places where people trade, connect and carve out a sliver of freedom. Family is everything. It's the only true sanctuary in a world of mistrust. Sacrifices are immense. Parents go hungry for their children. Children risk everything for their elders. Love persists, even if it must be hidden. Young couples find ways to meet, to care, to dream, even under watchful eyes. These relationships are quiet acts of rebellion. Small joys, a shared meal, a secret conversation are acts of survival. Humanity endures even in the darkest places. The North Korea shown to outsiders is a polished facade. Beyond Pyongyang, the reality is stark, crumbling infrastructure, chronic shortages, and daily hunger. Defectors' stories reveal the truth: famine, collapsed healthcare, and a constant struggle for survival. The regime's propaganda once held sway, but famine and smuggled information have cracked its control. A new generation is growing up with doubts and glimpses of the outside world. As a visitor, you see the cracks, power cuts, weary faces, worn shoes. These accidental glimpses reveal the unseen reality. Behind the grand performance are millions of individual lives, each with a story. The truth is hidden, but it cannot be erased. Every small revelation is a reminder of the people behind the propaganda. Leaving North Korea, the contrast is overwhelming. Freedom, color, noise. It's easy to condemn the regime, but we must remember the people trapped within. North Koreans are not a monolith. They are individuals caught in a system they didn't choose. To dehumanize them is to do the regime's work. Our empathy should be for the people, their struggles, their hopes, their resilience. Understanding begins with listening to defectors, to hidden stories, to the truth. By bearing witness, we keep their stories alive and challenge the regime's narrative. This work is about building bridges of empathy, not just satisfying curiosity. If these stories move you, share them. Help amplify the voices that must be heard. Let's keep our eyes and hearts open to the people of North Korea. They deserve nothing less.